Welcome to Foosball Radio. This episode of Foosball Radio is brought to you in part by 518 Prints. For all your custom foosball apparel and swag, 518prints.com. Represent. Happy New Year! We're back for our first episode of the new year and new decade. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tom Robinson. After much deliberation, we here at Foosball Radio have decided it's time for us to join the club, so to speak. Simply put, this is the first of a series of episodes wherein we discuss the clubs, organizations, and promoters who are dedicated to taking foosball to the next level. Whether it's a local league, DYP, regional, state, or national tournament, we want to highlight all of it. Kicking it off, we chatted with Florida State's Foosball Tournament Director and host of RK Foosball, Rob Kadle.
Just a big part of it is just really getting the word out there so people are aware of your tournament. You know, I mean, it's like a radio commercial. The first 3 times you hear a radio commercial, you don't even pay attention to it. Right. It's the 4th, 5th, 6th times you hear it, the frequency of when you go, oh, okay, there's a commercial on the radio. Rob
Kadle joins us for a talk about the trials and tribulations of hosting a major state tournament. Foosball Radio is ready to join the club coming up after this. 95% of success in life is showing up. But to be truly outstanding, you have to represent. Leave that to the pros at 518 Prints. Top-of-the-line printing for just about anything you can wear. Screen printing, embroidery, and promotional items designed to your specs. Leave your mark with 518 Prints, especially for your foosball jackets, tees, hats, bags, and more. Turnaround is rapid with the best quality material. Represent. Hit them up now at 518prints.com or visit the brand new store at 7th State Street in downtown Troy, New York. Telling the story of foosball, one player at a time. Foosball Radio. It's Foosball Radio. Hey there, I'm Tom Robinson. On behalf of Chuck and Nino, we're about to begin a brand new season here. We've got 2020 standing in front of us, and we're looking forward to a fantastic year. And now, not only is this a new year, but it's a new decade as well. So in Foosball Radio, what we're going to be working on in the very near future here is a whole new series on clubs, organizations, and tournaments from around the country in the U.S. and eventually, go into Europe and, of course, South America and other places. But no better place to start than right here in the U.S. of A. in a much warmer place, like Florida, take for instance. And so joining me once again on Foosball Radio, one of our guest hosts, Rob Kadle of RK Foosball, is on the line. So, Rob, welcome back.
Thank you. I always appreciate you having me here.
So here we come. We've got, Florida State's coming up very soon?
Florida State's coming up February 28th. Pretty unique this year, also on leap year. So we have February 28th, 29th, and March 1st.
This has been a big tournament for quite a few years. How long have you been involved with this again?
This is going to be my 7th year having the Florida State Championships.
Wow. And does it seem like it gets bigger and bigger each year? Is that the deal?
It has. Typically, I've been holding it in a bar. But last year, I was able to get out and get it into a Holiday Inn in Clearwater, Florida.
Okay.
At the hotel. And it's just been fantastic. I mean, last year we had a record number of attendance. Not only did we have a record number of attendance, but we had a record number of out-of-state players. Typically, it's a little bit of a challenge in Florida to get out-of-state players to come there just because sometimes the airlines are expensive. And,
right.
For somebody to book a hotel that time of year in Florida, it's very expensive.
Now, is that around spring break time as well for students?
It is. It's kind of right in the middle to latter part of spring break.
Okay.
But it's also a great time because it's not exactly in the beginning of spring break where all the airlines jack up their prices and everything. So you can still get cheap airfare. You could also fly into either Tampa International Airport, or you can fly into Clearwater Largo Airport with Allegiant Airlines, and they're very cheap, and that's like not even 10 minutes from the hotel. And the cool thing is the hotel has a courtesy shuttle from both of those airports back and forth to the hotel.
Well, that takes a lot of worry out of it. Yeah, so you have to rent a car or anything like that.
Don't have to rent a car. You can just get the shuttle going back and forth. And then also the rooms are only $109 a night with the foosball rate.
That's great.
If you were to go there non-foosball rate, $240 a night.
Wow, okay. Significant savings. What's the timetable like to rent, or shall we say book a room? What are we looking at here now?
Last year we sold out probably a month and a half before the tournament.
Seriously.
So I've been telling everybody, please, please, please book your room early. For some reason, foosball players they're a last minute book type of group. So I've been telling everybody, please, please, please call the hotel number on the flyer, hit option number 3. That's going to bring you directly to the front desk of the hotel. Book through them. And option please 3. Do it as soon as you can.
Got it.
Do it as soon as you can, because it will, I promise you, sell out again this year. Because not only do we have our foosball tournament there, but you've also just got people coming down for spring break. You've got to get your room early. I always tell people, please book it early.
That makes sense. Give me an idea. How many known players are in the Florida region playing foosball?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, for me to start naming off names, I'd hate to leave somebody out. But, I mean, I'm going to tell you there's probably 15 to 20 top pros masters in that area. I mean,
wow.
We've got Tom Yor, his son Tommy Yor is a beast. He's been playing really well. We got Blake Robertson, Bobby Diaz, Tony Spreedeman is there.
Yeah.
I mean, Dylan Marshall's a phenomenal player. Dakota Diaz, Bobby's son, he's a really good player, playing strong. I mean, we've just not only pros and pro masters. I mean, we got a lot of great expert talent there too. I mean, there's just all the way around. I mean, if you come to Florida States and you win an event, you're doing really well. And you could probably go anywhere in the country and win an event.
Yeah, the competition is very deep there. There's no question about that.
It is but that's what makes it such a great tournament. I mean,
right.
And the other great thing about the tournament is, I run a pretty tight ship there. So if somebody comes in and they start acting up or acting a fool or something, you get escorted out of there.
Right.
Right. Another great player who's there is also Scott O'Hare, and he's also a Clearwater cop. So if I have any problems, I'm like, hey, Scott, go do your duty and get this guy out of here, will you please?
Never hurts to
So it always helps to have a little law enforcement there.
I love that. Just give me an idea now from the first time you promoted Florida States to present day. What are the biggest challenges that you face? Because this is something we want to know about for others who are doing this same kind of thing across the country. What are the biggest challenges, first of all? What do you wish someone had told you before you started promoting this event?
I think probably, the biggest challenge is timing of what type of year you're going to have your event. For me, it's kind of a no-brainer because I used to do it later in forever. It used to be in November before I started doing it when Bobby used to run it. But then I was actually doing it later, like April or May. And John Lee, who does Maryland State, he goes, hey, listen, would you mind switching months with me? Because he did it in February in Maryland, which who knows what kind of snowstorm Frosty the Snowman's going to run through there. You know what I mean? So he was like, hey, would you mind if I take your later date and you take, February for me? And I'm like, started thinking, I'm like, man, that'd be a great idea because who doesn't want to come to Florida in February?
Yeah. Precisely.
When you're snowed in and freezing and so cabin fever, and it's been great. So timing, and then I think just a big part of it is just really getting the word out there so people are aware of your tournament. It's like a radio commercial. The first 3 times you hear a radio commercial, you don't even pay attention to it.
Right.
It's the 4th, 5th, 6th times you hear it, the frequency of when you go, oh, okay, there's a commercial on the radio.
That's exactly right, by the way. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's, I used to sell radio. That's the only reason I know that. I don't want to try to sound too smart.
You never told me that. You never told. You're in the industry selling time in radio. I spent 30 years as an air personality. Why didn't you never mention this to me before?
It was my first job out of college, and I really wasn't that good at it.
Well,
so I don't tell too many people.
If you can sell air, you can sell anything, right?
You can sell, and if you can sell something that's non-tangible, and people don't hear it the first 3 times you sell it, you could sell ice to Eskimos.
So, what else about running a foosball tournament do you enjoy? First of all, what do you not enjoy about running a foosball tournament?
The thing that I enjoy the least about running foosball tournaments is sometimes the players can be very demanding.
Okay.
As far as, I don't know how to do this. I need to know it now. I need this now. Well, what do you mean you put us on recall? What do you mean you forfeited us? Well, we not only did we put you on recall 3 different times, and then not only did we do that, but we, changed tables and then called you another 2 times, but it's somehow magically, the staff's fault because that person got forfeited.
I understood.
So
not a focus.
The amount of the lack of accountability on the player's part is incredible sometimes. So
what kind of system are you using to do, like when someone registers at Florida State? Is there some kind of a computer system that puts them in, or what's the deal? I mean, how do they know when their match is called?
Yeah, we use the Everplay software that Mary uses on tour. So I have Mary come out. Yeah, I have Mary come out. She brings the tables out. We're going to have 25 tables there, by the way, which is
25.
We had 20 last year. And last year I increased the payouts by an extra $1,200.
Okay.
I added that to the payouts, which was pretty cool. I'm glad I got to do that. And then this year I went from a $7,500 tournament to an $8,500 tournament, which is, I think, going to bring more players in. And if it does, if I get an even better turnout, then I'll add more money to the payouts, just like I did last year.
Excellent.
I think it's, the players deserve that.
Yes.
They're coming out, they're spending a lot of money to travel, they're spending money on hotels, they're spending money on entry fees. So, if I can give back and do a little bit more, then I absolutely will.
Okay. Well, now you've told me what's not so great about running these things. Now, what do you love about foosball tournaments?
The camaraderie of the players.
Yeah.
Foosball players, most of them have such unique, weird, quirky personalities. They're just fun to be around.
Yeah, no kidding.
I loved a lot of laughs and the camaraderie.
Yeah, so the family.
Yeah, the foosball family.
It's funny, this last year we had a conversation with Sissy Whipple from Texas, and that was one of the things she stressed the most was the family and how they all come together, especially because they had a tragedy with Joe Kuntz, who passed away, who's been running the Bardo.
I was actually just Facebooking Sissy today because she asked me to add some type of event to Florida State to be able to bring money in for the Bardo tournament. And I did. I actually added a non-conflict draw your partners Sunday at 8 p.m. and 100% of the proceeds are going to go to the Bardo.
100%?
Yeah, 100%
really?
of the proceeds.
That's fantastic.
I really hope that people get on board with that too. I mean, it's only going to be like probably a $10 entry fee, but I hope we get a bunch of teams in there and we can send some money over to them. That's going to be one of the things where you see the familyness of the tournament step up, where a bunch of people go, okay, we're not going to win any money. We're just doing this for the Bardo. Here's my entry fee money.
Cool. Yeah, and have some fun in return, right?
And have bragging rights. Yeah. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I might get plaques made just for the first place team for the Bardo for bragging rights.
Cool. Yeah, that's nice.
Why not?
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Remind me to do that, Tom.
I will. I'll keep you.
Okay.
I'll hold you to the fire on that one. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. All right. I will.
So, okay. Now describe just for me, what do you consider the best year that the Florida State's foosball tournament? What was your favorite year so far?
Last year by far, because it was at the hotel.
Okay. Being
at the hotel was huge for the Florida State. It's never been in a hotel for its entire existence. So last year having it at the hotel, I mean, like I said, we had a record number of attendance. We had almost 180 people there.
Nice.
My biggest one prior to that was like 134.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And out of that 179 players, half of them were out of state, which is unheard of for Florida. So I'm
half.
so excited. I actually have somebody who messaged me on Facebook who is coming from England.
Nice.
He's like, oh, I want to come over there and do the warm weather. I'm like,
yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, great. We'd love to have you.
When you think of the amount of tourists that come to Florida, I mean, not everybody's from the States. There's a lot of, like you say, guys from England, families from France and Spain, Europe in general, because it gets cold there too, and they want to, really take advantage of Florida. Wow. Well, maybe this will be a trend. It'll become much more of an international event.
I mean, it'd be fantastic. I mean, the more it grows, the more the payouts will grow. Mm-hmm. And pretty soon I might have to start looking for a bigger hotel, because I mean, when we put those 25 tables in there, that's pretty much going to max out that room that we have, the ballroom that we have. So
right.
I mean, I'll probably be able to get away with at least one or two more Florida States there, but after that I'm going to have to try to find maybe somewhere a little bigger. But
well, that would be a nice problem to have.
It's not a bad problem to have. For sure.
Let's say I'm somebody who wants to start a new, let's say, regional or state tournament where there isn't one right now. What do you have to do? What are the steps? Can you give me an overview of what that might be like?
Well, the first thing you would really want to think about in doing something like that is, what kind of player base do you think you could really draw? Because the last thing you want to do is say, okay, I'm going to have a $10,000 tournament and promote that and tell everybody that's what it's going to be. And then you get half the amount of people that are showing and you go, I don't have enough money for payouts.
Okay.
So, you really, you want to make sure you have a good local player base that is going to show.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of what I've been basing my tournaments on, is we have a great local player base scene, and I count on all those guys to show up at the tournament, and they do. So, I mean, you really want to know how many people you think you're going to be able to get there, so that you can make sure that your payouts are going to be accurate on that, because you don't want to leave yourself having to go into your own personal bank account to make payouts.
Yeah, I get you there. How do you find a venue though? What's that like?
Well, the venues I always used was the venue that I had my local tournaments at. So I was pretty fortunate in that area. But if you're going to be doing a long, big tournament like this weekend, it's tough to do them in those, because the players get tired.
Yeah.
You see them sleeping at the tables or sleeping underneath the registration table because they're tired. They can't go back to their room. So I think that was the biggest change for me, was putting it at the hotel. And, of course, as a promoter, putting it on at the hotel, you have to rent that ballroom.
Yes.
So it's a big expense for you. So you have to figure out a way to be able to get that included somehow. And, typically you have to guarantee them a certain amount of room nights that you're going to rent out in order for them to go, okay, well, we'll give you this much off, or we'll give it to you for nothing if you meet that number.
Well, they're going to have occupation guaranteed for 3 to 4 days in their hotel.
Yes.
So that's got to be worth something to them. Now, what else is the incentive? I mean, other than just having people in the hotel?
Food and drinks.
Ah, yes, right.
Concessions. They have to eat and drink somewhere.
Mm-hmm. And now, does the hotel have pretty good food?
The Holiday Inn that we're in, they got great food. They got a bar right across the hallway.
Nice.
So I was, last year was my first year there, and I was very pleasantly surprised with the staff. The staff was amazing.
Cool.
They were catering to us.
Right.
So I was very happy about that. The rooms were nice. Everything was clean. The breakfast in the morning was fantastic.
Okay.
So, and the food, I was able to kind of negotiate with them and say, listen, nobody's going to buy your $11 burger. If you make it a $5 burger, everybody's going to buy it.
Right.
Make them eat here. Don't give them the choice. Make them want to eat here, as opposed, you walk out of that hotel, Wendy's, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Burns Steakhouse. I mean, there's a million different things to eat literally right out the door.
I got you.
So I need you guys to price it to where they're not going to want to walk out and go get anything, or go tell their wife or, boyfriend, girlfriend, hey, go next door and go get us something. Make it good. Make it here. You're not losing money at that price. So
yeah, and they're going to drink.
Right? Yeah, they're going to drink.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, they're going to drink, Tom. Yes, they are.
We're talking about foosball players, right?
Yeah, that's not the one thing they forget to do. They're going to drink. For sure.
Well, there's certain things we can always count on in foosball, and no doubt about that.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's say beyond a venue, what comes next? What kind of organization goes into this? How much time do you put in of your own time to make this happen?
Like, I hire Mary to come out and to bring the tables, and she has her crew that come out and do the setup and all that stuff. So that's pretty much taken care of.
Okay.
Which is a big part of it. Because I mean, setting up 25 tables, leveling them, cleaning them, put the light, that's a lot of work.
Yes.
So she has some amazing guys who come out and do that. So she's got a really good staff. So that part's taken care of. But then it's just kind of on my shoulders, endless hours on Facebook, answering phone calls, returning emails. You know, it's for sure a thankless job, but you know, when you see the payoff of all the players there and you look over, you know, like when I stand at the registration table and it's started and everything's going and all the questions and the madness and everything is kind of calmed down for a little bit. And I look at all of the tables and, you know, seeing 4 people on every table in the DYP just playing and everybody having a good time and competing and seeing them just kind of thriving off of each other's energy and stuff. It's, it reminds me, I go, okay, that's why I do this. And it's funny because John Lee and Kristen Grogan, they come out and help me run it, and they do a phenomenal job. I mean, those guys are unbelievable.
They do a lot of work.
They do a lot of work. And, you know, I sit there after, you know, like the 70th person has come up and yelled at me because this wasn't right or whatever. They lost their ball and don't want to buy another one. I look at them and I go, how do you guys do this every month? I'm like, seriously?
Yeah. No, it's
because I'm like, I've had it at that point. I'm just like ready to start cutting people's heads off.
Well, you gotta love it, right? You gotta love it somehow.
Yeah.
There's got to be some kind of, you know, inner reward, because otherwise, you know, why do it? Why bother?
Right. Those guys are great, and they talked me off the ledge many a time.
Okay. Yeah, been there, done that. It's okay, Rob. You're going to survive.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Don't panic. It's all going to go good. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because I've had 80 people yell at me in 4 seconds. Are you sure?
So if you want to start a tournament or, you know, something either regional or you want to do something that's statewide, there has to be a player base to begin with. That's really at least that's what I'm hearing from you. That's the bottom line.
You want to have a player base, and then depending on where you are in the country, you know, the thing about Florida is, you know, we're 85% coastal land. Yeah. So there's not a whole lot of states surrounding us, you know, so we don't have a whole lot of draw typically from surrounding states where, you know, other states, they've got states all around them and there's a bunch of foosball players. Right. That's something you got to keep into consideration also. And that's been the largest challenge that I've had with Florida State. But now that I have it at a hotel, like I said, I mean, last year we had a record number of attendees. Yep. And B, we had a record number of out-of-state attendees. So it was fantastic.
Yeah. May that continue to be the case, of course. You know, ever larger groups every year coming from further and further away. That's the goal, right? So to attract people from a distance. Now that we've discussed player base, now obviously there are a lot of smaller clubs and leagues across the country. What stands out in your mind as building a player base? What is it? Is it just a local DYP that does this? Is it a consistent, maybe a scholastic program that does this? What's the easiest thing for people to do to build that base?
It's so tough right now because, you know, when I was a kid and playing foosball, I used to be able to go to my local YMCA, and there was a place. There used to be things called arcades where there was a bunch of video games and foosball tables in it.
I do remember those, by the way.
Yeah, I think they went out with the dinosaur.
Yeah, with me.
So, you know, there used to be those things. I used to play at my local roller skating rink. Okay. We just don't have those things anymore. So I think, you've got to get it in the school somehow, or I don't even know if there's rec halls around anymore, but you know, it's tough because those are all your challenges. So,
well, you have folks like John O'Brien and Mark Drolette, and
doing phenomenal jobs.
Yep, they're
really doing amazing jobs,
bringing the kids to the table in schools.
You have to get them off of their cell phones and iPads and computers. You have to. Whew. It's like a brain meltdown. You know, you have to get them away from that. Yeah, that's the challenge. I mean, that's the big challenge. You know, the biggest challenge we have with new players in the Tampa area is, we've just got so much talent, like extremely good talent. It's kind of hard for that newer player who's been playing, local pickup games at their work where there happens to be a foosball table in the coffee room or, break room or something. And then they go, oh, well, I'm beating everybody in the break room. Let me go try my luck over here at this Friday night tournament. And then they just get clobbered and, nobody takes the time to even get to know their first name or anything.
I know.
That's what's tough there, and that's what's tough in Tampa.
Yeah, I mean, you've got that core of players there that are all world class, and to expect to walk into let's say a weekly tournament and even make a showing, unless of course the computer draws your name with a Tony Sprademan, you're probably not going to do so well.
That's like me walking out to the golf course and going, "Hey, Tiger, you want to go 9 rounds?" It's not going to happen.
Yeah. And by the way, there'll be a $5,000 fee for that first 9.
Right, exactly.
If you want to play, that's fine, but it's not cheap. No, it is a dilemma. And of course, now it's just a matter of perhaps some of these local tournaments and clubs establish an aspect of their clubs specifically for learning, for beginners, even for amateurs who want to improve their game and get maybe not involved in anything too heavy duty immediately, but play amongst other beginners.
Yeah, this is something. Last year was the first year, because I was at the hotel, I was able to do a beginner and rookie singles and doubles in my tournament. And I had a local promoter, Tommy Brewer.
Okay.
From over in West Palm Beach area. He brought over like 30 beginner players. I mean, my hat's off to him. He's doing an amazing job over there, and he brought over a bunch of people, and they loved it because it was nothing but beginners and rookies in those 2 events.
Understood.
So he did a phenomenal. Tommy Brewer, if you're listening to this, hats off to you, brother. Appreciate you. Hope you do the same this year. Looking forward to seeing you. But he's doing a great job over there and promoting it. And, he's got a ton of love for the game, so he's doing a great job.
And where's he located again?
He's like in the West Palm Beach area.
West Palm Beach.
Beach. Yep.
Okay. Gotcha. Really, really cool. Well, may that continue to be the case for him and other places across the country to encourage this kind of participation and not worrying about having to play a top pro, especially on a weekly basis where really it gets very discouraging very quickly.
You've got to have, if you're doing weekly tournaments, you've got to have like a beginner's night or something like that.
Yeah.
And you've got to have a separate night for just them. But it's weird though, because in the Tampa area, there's probably like 15 players who are all kind of beginners, and they all just go to this one bar and they put in $5 a piece, and tables are on free play, and they just play until their heart's content. But we can't get them to take that next step to come out. You know what I mean? So they play in their little niche, and that's it. That's all they want to do. They're happy with that.
Okay.
And they don't ever want to.
Maybe a couple of pros need to show up, or a couple of times a month, and just say, "Hey guys, we just want to show you some other tricks here, some other ideas you can try, maybe we'll do a quick clinic, and if they're addicted enough, they'll be like, oh yeah, we definitely want to see how to improve."
I have to say, I think that part of foosball is you have to really want to compete.
Yes.
You've got to have it in you. You know what I mean? Because there's
killer instinct.
You've got to want to do it. Even though you're getting killed and murdered on a table, you got to say, I need to get better so that I can compete.
Right.
So you either have that in you and want to compete, or you kind of are just a barroom player and kind of want to just hang out and have fun. Which either is fine. Either, one's not better than the other. It's just a difference.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of great ideas out there when it comes to developing the player base, and this is really for Foosball Radio, especially right now. We want to focus in the next few episodes on the clubs, of course, the organizations and the tournaments that go on across the country, and really get an idea as to how each individual part of the country, each person who does this, what's their perspective. And I really appreciate you giving us your input on this, because you're really kind of our test case here, if you don't mind me saying.
I appreciate you having me on. I'm glad that I get to talk about this. I really enjoyed it. You guys are doing a great job with this. I know you got a ton of listeners, so no, I'm honored to be on here.
Oh, absolutely. Why don't you give me the lowdown once again when it comes to Florida State's tournament coming up, the dates and how people can get signed up for rooms.
Okay, mark your calendars. February 28th 29th, and March 1st is going to be the 2020 Florida State Championships, $8,500 tournament. There'll be 25 tables there on free play. It's at the Holiday Inn in Clearwater, Florida. The address is 3535 Ulmerton Road. If you go on Facebook to RK Foosball, you'll see the flyer there. And it's posted everywhere. There's Tampa Foosball, RK Foosball. It's pretty much just about, you've Google Tampa, Florida, or Florida Foosball, you're going to see my flyer on there. So on the flyer is a phone number. Call the phone number, hit option number 3 for the front desk. That's going to put you right in touch with someone at the front desk of that hotel. And I would recommend booking directly through them, because there's been some issues where if people go through the Holiday Inn line where it's, overseas, then it gets confusing, and the food, they're like,
for sure. Yeah.
Option 3 is the way to go. Yes. Right. Then you will get somebody right in the hotel room.
Excellent.
And you'll be able to book your room. Do it early. Please do it early.
And looking for some of the top players to be there this year, of course. Any name dropping there you'd like to include for?
Well, of course, we'll have Tony Spreedeman, Tommy Orr, Blake Robertson, Kane Gabriel usually comes. I don't know if Tommy's going to try to get Brandon Moreland to come out there and play with him in doubles. I'm not sure. There's going to be a ton of great. Scott O'Hare's going to be there. I mean, there's going to be a ton of great players that you're definitely not going to fall short in the talent level at Florida State Championships, for sure.
Well, here's to the best possible tournament with a bigger turnout than you would expect. But 2020, going to be a great year. And Rob, thank you so much for taking the time to discuss your trials and tribulations, and of course your joy when it comes to this whole idea of putting on a foosball tournament and organizing foosball in Florida. That's a big part of what you do as well. So thank you so much.
I appreciate you having me on, and keep up the great work. This is awesome.
Our sincere thanks to Rob Kadle for taking time out of his busy day to chat about the upcoming 2020 Florida State Foosball Championships taking place in Tampa, Florida during the last weekend in February. This is just the first of many episodes focusing on the clubs, organizations, and promoters for our beloved sport. We invite you to tell us all about your local foosball club or organization. Drop us an email at info@foosballradio.com as we build a database on our website. Who knows? We might even feature your club on an upcoming episode of Foosball Radio. Thanks so much for your support of the Ultimate Foosball Podcast. On behalf of Nino DeJean and Chuck Dooley, I'm Tom Robinson. Until next time, we'll see you on the table.
Foosball Radio was brought to you in part by 518 Prints for all your custom foosball apparel and swag. 518prints.com. Represent.